The Mike and Tony Show is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
I just literally say whatever the fuck I want. This is Jordan Huey. I'm a singer-songwriter. Just kidding. And you're fucking with the Mike and Tony Show.
The voice of Jordan Huey there. Was that last week, Pierce?
It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
But that was came from our current guest that we have today, Meghan.
Yes, Meghan.
Yeah.
Meghan Clarisse, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you again. We were talking about how crazy busy you've been.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so busy, so busy.
Since the last time you were here, yeah.
Love watching it.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, we got our Starbucks here.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers, indeed. Double cheers, one for the show. Pierce, how was your week? How are you doing? I know you told me you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, and she knows too. Like it's terrible. This right now, this time of year, actually, it's just end of term. So trying to get all that money, get all that money out, and then got FAFSA simplification, and that's the shit show. And so, yesterday I was irritated because like my boss set up a meeting for like 2 to 4. You're like, come on,
on a Friday.
On a Friday, yeah,
that's
exactly.
So funny. I had the same thing happen.
Dude,
I did too.
Really?
Oh my god, that's like
Yes.
And I said that literally when it was like, when I got that invite, it was like from 2 to 4. I was like, no, for real? I was like, damn, because I work until 4.
Yeah, I know.
And so they literally like booked
harsh.
it.
Same.
Like,
That feeling, yeah. I'm at the end of it. I told you I had 2 weeks that were going to be really brutal. I thought the first one was going to be like the worst of it. Second one was going to be a little easier, and then it was going to be over. But it was the first one was a little easier. This week was just destroyed me, ran me over like a truck. But I'm at the end of it now. So
got your laptop at school, etc.
Yeah, that was the reason we were late this morning. Again, thanks for your flexibility.
No worries.
I had everything all set up and was ready to roll, and then I was like, where's my computer? And I was like, oh no! It's in Lakewood. I had to drive all the way out.
Oh my gosh, I could have
picked
picked it up for you on my way. That's right.
I should have thought that. Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
I forgot about that. Actually.
Next time you forget your computer, call me.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're not doing the podcast, then you just drive all the way out. Drop it for me. Just want to help out. Anyway,
or she'll be like another couch guy, and just be like on the side, hanging out with us.
Yeah, become a regular. He could
Sure.
be a regular on the show.
Yeah, I love it.
Speaking of couch guy and regular, he is not so regular anymore.
He's not so regular.
He's vanished from the planet for quite a while. The listeners want him back.
He is alive. He still sends me a bazillion Instagram reels, so I know he's alive.
From his couch.
As I was about to say, he's super busy. He works a lot. That is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you've been up to. It's really fun watching on Instagram, just seeing like you were just going hard. Like you were going really playing a lot of shows, doing just music constantly in the studio. I see.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What's going on?
It's been so fun. So you had Jordan Huey here a couple of weeks ago, and her and I just recorded a song that we wrote together. I don't know.
Wait, did we talk about that? She was Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I was going to be here a couple of weeks ago, and then I double booked myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I know someone. And Jordan's so fun. We had just recorded in the studio. So I'm working on a second EP right now. It's really small. It's just a 4-song project, but they're all co-writes and duets. So Jordan and I wrote a super fun song. It's called The End of an Era. So like a play on the end of an era, meaning like the end of a bad relationship.
Yeah.
And we just had a blast in the studio. We recorded these songs at Evergroove Studio in Evergreen with
all these play on words. I love it.
yeah, right. I can't stop. Athena Wilkinson was our engineer there, and she's fantastic. So it was when I had Jordan there with me, it was like just a girl power kind of vibe, and I feel like that's the vibe of the song we did. But got a few others. I recorded with my friend Dan Alchemist. He plays in Strings in a Box.
Okay.
We wrote a song years ago together that I always thought was really good, and so I called him and was like, we should record this, and he said yeah. So
nice.
That one's done, and then we did one last week with my guitar player Steve Jordan. That one's done, and then we'll do one next week, I think, me and my pedal steel player, Joe Oser. So that's one small project that's kind of in the cooker,
wild, yeah.
almost done. And then I recently received a grant from Howling Dog Music company. They're a studio in Alamosa, and the owners decided to start a nonprofit. They just kind of looked at the landscape of musicians and thought, there's a lot of musicians that should be recording or maybe would like to record a lot of original music and art and get it out there for people, but they don't have the finances to do it or, don't want to do it because it's just such an investment, and you don't see that return on investment anymore with, Spotify. You make a few pennies here and there. Right. So they started this nonprofit and had been fundraising, and this year was the first year they awarded grants. So I think I was one of 6 recipients. I was the only one in Colorado. And so it's $3,000 to help record a full-length album with my band.
Heck yeah.
Which will do at the end of this year. I think the last week of October we're scheduled in the studio there.
Now, do you have plenty of songs just locked and loaded already?
I do, yeah. I'm going to write a few new ones for this project. I have kind of like a theme, kind of a concept in mind that I'm working around. I got a few songs done for that one. But yeah, super stoked and just like so incredibly grateful for all of these people with the Howling Dog nonprofit that have just kind of been like an answer to my prayers, honestly.
That's dope.
Yeah. I'm so fortunate. I get to work with Susan Gibson, who you may or may not know her name as a songwriter, but she's written, you would definitely recognize a lot of her songs. She wrote Wide Open Spaces for the Dixie Chicks and like just a whole bunch of really successful songs. So she will kind of be my mentor in terms of writing and kind of bounce some stuff off her. And
heck yeah.
And then Jana Pochop will help me with crowdfunding to crowdfund the rest of it so we can actually do some radio promotion and stuff, which I haven't done before. It's expensive to get everything out there. So I'm super stoked. Lots of fun things happening.
You're like glowing. Seriously, yeah. I feel like you're like really in your groove. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's been so fun. This year I was also nominated for the Female Vocalist of the Year through the Colorado Country Music Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So I don't know if I'll win. The awards show will be in August, but it's just a huge honor to be nominated, and so that's been really fun. It's been an exciting year. Keeping the band so busy.
Talk to us about the band. So you have the same, you were working with like various people before, it seemed like. Mm-hmm. Do you have a set band now?
I do, yeah. Oh. It's funny. So I have my guitar player, Steve Jordan, and we play out the most. We play out in a duo, and then he's in the band as well. So the two of us are extra busy. And then we have our our bass player, Dave McGregor, our drums, Scott Patzer. And then we have Joe Oser on pedal steel. Joe does a lot of his own work too, so I actually have a couple of backup pedal steel players.
Unbelievable. Because, I don't know who could say that besides you.
I know, but it's, I feel like it's an important part of my music and country music. I mean, we're more kind of Americana rock.
Sure.
But I love the sound. I've always been in love with pedal steel. I grew up on country music, and there aren't that many pedal steel players in Denver, so I've tried to get to know all of them. And so we've played with Todd Clayton one show at Dougie G's about a month ago. He's incredible. And then he did some pedal steel work on the recordings we just did at Evergroove. And then we also work with Chris Haas sometimes, who plays in the band Trouble Bound, which is an Americana band. So they're all fabulous. Joe also, unfortunately, has had a lot of health issues in the last year and just landed himself in the hospital again Thursday. So, so he missed the last couple of shows, but that's okay. We're just hoping he recovers.
Gonna be okay, yeah.
Well, I think when we went to go see your guitarist was with you that one time when we went to go see you at that one bar, the brewery. It was, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, was that Steve Jordan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
got a face
Steve
for the
Jordan.
name.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we have Mark Mars on keys. We had him last night because we didn't have Joe. So usually we're a 5-piece with bass, drums, lead guitar, rhythm guitar, and pedal steel. Occasionally we'll be a 6-piece with all of that plus keys. So yeah, it's so fun. The guys are like family to me, and they're all older guys that have been married a long time, so they're super like agreeable. I feel like their wives have trained them really well. Like I'm like, hey guys, what do you think? And they're like, yes, ma'am.
That is hilarious.
So it works well.
Something that's incredible listening to you talk about it so far, and I'm sure this sticks out to you too, because it reminds me of you, Pierce, but like, I feel like you've named like 35 people since we started this podcast. No kidding. Like just I'm just name dropping
over here.
Yeah, but I mean, like the people that you work with so many different people, and I think it's probably a testament to your personality, right? Because that's a big factor people don't talk about. Is like, if you're like an easy to get along with person, you have a clear vision and you're having fun and everybody cares about each other and you like the people you're working with, it just becomes pure joy.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that too, because honestly, like I wouldn't have been able to advance musically, I think, really at all without other people. I mean, I think it is a community and, we all need each other. And I am just not at all from the, the school of thought of like competition or anything like that with art. I think there's room for all of us. Yeah. Yes, I'm super collaborative, and I think you get so much more out of things when with anything really, but when you're asking other people like, hey, what do you think of this, or hey, would you like to join? Like I just really think it makes things so much better. And yeah, I mean, I'm super grateful that people have been willing to work with me, and I think the band they're so good, and they've all done like lots of things musically on their own, and I think kind of got to a place in their lives, like some of them are retired, where they're kind of like haven't given up on their own music, but are really kind of like investing in this now, and like maybe didn't go as far musically as they wanted to on their own. But I really feel they have like faith and hope in us as a band, and that feels so good too. So yeah.
Heck yeah. What a team.
How many bands have you been in, Dollar?
Probably less than most musicians my age, because I did so much solo stuff. But I played in a lot of bands. Starting in high school. Yeah. I was a drummer in a few different bands.
You know the name of all the bands you've been in, Dollar?
No, I couldn't tell you. It probably was something that sounded, we were trying to sound like the name Primus. I used to play with a great bass player that wanted to be, what's his name from Primus?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of bands. My favorite band ever, though, was Despicables.
Yeah.
That reggae band that I played in out here. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I played in lots of bands. I'm just solo now. There's some possibilities, some gigs. They keep being possibilities and not coming through yet. But I am looking to get back out there a little bit.
Well, let's collaborate.
Oh,
yeah. Hey. Not my strong suit. Yeah. I need to do it, though. Because I remember being forced to collaborate when I was doing, I think we talked about it before, I studied licensing for a little while, and that was impossible by yourself. Like, they forced us to write songs together and all that kind of stuff. I'm curious about your writing and how that looks. So you and Jordan Huey have worked together. What an interesting combination of people. Like, I feel like the two of them are almost like polar opposites a little bit in some ways, but both have that like super high energy and positive vibe. I guess let's start there. What's it like working with Jordan? How is that?
She is so fun. So fun. Super high energy, which, okay, I didn't know. So Mike and I were talking like after you recorded the podcast that she apparently has narcolepsy. Yeah. And I was like, no way. She has more energy than anyone I know.
That's what Tony said too.
It was unbelievable. I was like, what?
And we were joking around with her too, because we're like, we were talking to her. We're like, we thought she was like 22.
Yeah.
Something, and she's like, no, I'm like 31.
I know.
And we were like, what? And Tony was like, you're not getting much sleep. He's like, usually people look the opposite.
Right.
If they don't get much sleep.
Not getting any sleep. She looks crazy young, packed full of energy.
Amazing. Yeah. And then Mike and I were talking. I was like, well, I'm tired all the time too. Maybe I have it.
It turns out we all.
When she was describing her symptoms, like when she first found out about narcolepsy, I remember my face. I was just like sitting there like, uh-oh. Oh man.
Mike's like, I have to call my doctor.
Oh man. Yeah. I was like,
totally.
Oh my God, I got to schedule something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she is so much fun. When we were in the studio that whole day, I mean, nobody had a straight face the whole day. It was just her and I and the engineer, Athena, and we were just cracking up the entire day. It was so fun. But yeah, she's, I forget exactly how I met her at collaborating through some show. And then I went to see her play a couple of times. And we have like just similar, we cover a lot of the same songs and similar kind of musical, I think, backgrounds and what we do. And I've always wanted, we talk about like doing a show that the two of us and maybe some other people as well. But so when I had this idea for a song and I called her, I'm like, what do you think about this? And she was like, let's do it, like full energy. So
yeah. No, Dollar has been asked to collaborate on a song too, or with Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. It's funny you brought him up because he was in my mind just now, and I was just thinking, I was like, we should put together like a Mike and Tony
band.
No, but like a Mike and Tony show. Like, well, that sounds weird because
with all of our different
we
friends.
have so many different musical friends.
Yeah.
It would be just amazing to do that.
I wonder if we like get out a bar and just like have a whole bunch of
Find something like the secret studio, even.
Yeah.
Right. Have a little spot.
Oh, I love this.
Oh my god. Write that down. I don't have my pen and pad.
Someone remember it.
Yeah, someone remember it. Somebody
Mike
send
and
me.
Tony, the Mike and Tony Fest. Something
Dude.
ridiculous,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Oh my god.
Wow. Look out, Coachella.
We just thought.
Yeah, right.
That would be badass. Yeah, I still haven't done that. He wants me to record a reggae song.
Nice.
I checked in on him the other day too. By the way, do you talk to him much, Tyler?
Well, I just his voice stuff and everything like that. One of our guests, he had like the same thing that.
You don't know Tyler Stanfield, do you? Mm-mm. He's almost in the same vein. He's more rock.
Yeah. But he had like vocal paresis.
Oh, wow. So he couldn't talk?
No, he could. It was just like one of his vocal cords, like just completely just paralyzed and stopped working.
Gosh.
And so he was working on an EP too, right? He's a full on album, and he had to stop everything. So he hasn't done music for since December because he's been repairing his vocal cords and stuff like that too. So yeah, it's been.
Hence why I checked in on him. Typical dude though. He's like, I'm good. I was like, all right, cool. Just making sure because it's hard when you're a singer, and he's like you. He's super active. He's playing all the time, and to not be able to do that, it's always hard. You just got to appreciate everything you got in life, to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You even said you were maybe going to play a little music for us today.
Yeah, I would love to.
I would love to if you've got. What are you thinking? What do you want to play?
Is an original okay?
100% original is okay. Heck yeah, absolutely would love that.
I did also want to talk about another project I have. So I have a lot of projects I tend to get in over my head, but this one is so fun. So it's just a cover band. We don't do any originals, but it's all female rock and roll cover band.
Oh, okay.
And it's just super fun. So it's 5 of us. My really good friend Holly, this was her idea probably a while back, and I don't think we had started it the last time I was here yet, or maybe just started getting together. But yeah, we've been rehearsing for a couple of years. So it's Holly on lead guitar, Robin on drums and vocals, Susie on bass and vocals, me on rhythm guitar and vocals, sometimes keys. And then my good friend Kathleen, who plays everything. She plays a lot of keys, guitar in the band, but sometimes banjo, fiddle, accordion.
Oh, fun.
Harmonica. Yeah.
Jeez, everything.
She's incredible. So that's been really fun too. We don't play out a lot. We have a hour set coming up in June at Fracco's. I think it's June 12th, which is the old Toad Tavern.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy moly. I haven't been there
place to play.
forever.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to give them all a shout out.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that.
Super fun. And I'm all about the girl power, especially in music. It's kind of a male dominated industry.
Yeah, that came up last show
Yeah,
too.
that did come
We
up last,
were
yeah.
talking about that. This is a first. I don't think at one point we were doing the Mike and Tony Presents.
Yeah.
We were doing like little concert things separate, but we've never had anybody, I don't think, except me. I did it once.
Yeah.
I did it once when you interviewed Tony Bio or whatever.
Yeah.
It's only the second time anybody's played music on the show. So
Oh, wow.
super exciting.
Okay.
189 episodes deep
Yeah.
before we brought it in.
Okay, well, no pressure, right?
Right.
No.
Well, this is a song that, so writing is very therapeutic for me. I write to like work a lot of things out, as I'm sure most artists do. This is one song I have about an ex. There's a lot of them. Songs, not exes. Well, maybe a few. I'm not getting any younger. But anyway, it's a song about an ex-boyfriend. It's called Monster. I was waiting for someone like you, so much waiting, and you finally came through, and I told you forever, and I wouldn't lie. You couldn't do the same, you didn't even try. Now I'm seeing red. You said only a monster would say things I've said. You won't give me what I need. Twist a knife and watch me bleed. But when I'm feeling lonely and low, you don't know how far this monster will go. No, you don't know how far this monster will go. Gave you everything I had, but you didn't give anything back. And they say good little girls shouldn't get so mad. Oh, but you shouldn't treat girls like that. Now I'm seeing red. You said only a monster would say things I've said. You won't give me what I need. Twist a knife and watch me bleed. But when I'm feeling lonely and low, you don't know how far this monster will go. No, you don't know how far this monster will go. And you'll say I'm weak, insecure, incomplete, but I know the secrets that you keep, and you won't put this monster to sleep. And when I'm feeling lonely and low, you don't know how far this monster will go. No, you don't know how far this monster will go. No, you don't know how far this monster will go.
Yeah.
That was good. All right.
Oh, that was
Thank you.
awesome. How new is that?
That's really not new at all. It's on the EP we recorded before. So the CD I gave you, I know CDs are like obsolete these days, but it's also on iTunes and Spotify and everything. So, yeah.
Love that. Yeah, for listeners, most people are listening. They don't know. We're
Yeah.
showing it in the camera there, so you could.
But you said it's on Spotify.
It is, yeah.
yeah.
Pretty much anywhere you stream music, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes,
Beautiful.
Apple Music, yeah.
Beautiful, isn't it? Easy. It's nice how easy distribution is now.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's like pros and cons. You don't make any money, but I mean,
Yeah.
in the old days, I can't imagine like, you know, you could only make CDs and you would have to get them in front of like the right people and really do like mass distribution, I guess, to like sell it in stores, or I don't even know.
Totally. CD Baby back in the day.
I was going to say, that's what Dom always used to say, Don Juju Gordon.
Yeah.
He always talk about CD Baby.
Yeah, I used CD Baby for a while too.
Yeah.
Now I use TuneCore, and then it just it's just like that. It puts it everywhere.
Yeah,
so.
I've used both CD Baby and TuneCore, and then I think DistroKid is another one that people use a lot. Yeah, so yeah.
So many cool tools and so much community in music nowadays. Which guest was it? Was it Duncan? I think it was talking about touring and just how good everyone is to each other. Yeah. Like, this band right here, Relate. Yeah, he's got the shirt on. I love that. I like the color of that, by the way, too. Kind of like a mellow yellow over there. But he was talking about how touring, like when you're in a different market or different area, like usually if you're a touring musician and there's a home musician there, they would usually pass the income on to the guys who are coming through town so that everybody can keep it going. And then when they go to their town, the favor gets returned. So I just feel like
that.
I love musicians, bro.
Yeah.
I just feel like
that's what he said. The DIY touring community. That's what he called it. So because they do it all themselves.
That's true. That is
do all the marketing and all the scheduling and everything like that, and just get together with different people on the route. And so that's what he said. When they go to California, a lot of the times when they travel out there, they.
It's so great. Because it's not easy. That's, I think for me, the hardest part is like all the booking and scheduling.
Sure. Do you do all that yourself?
I do, yeah.
That's so much. I've been there.
I know.
That's a lot of work.
I know, we were joking around that too, because Tyler Sandfield, he does it all too. And he was joking on the podcast. He was like the second time he was on here, he put an ad out on our podcast. Anybody wants to be my booking manager?
I remember that.
He's like, it's Tyler Stanfield at.
Oddly, we didn't get any responses on that. I don't think anybody wanted to
I
step
always
up to
say
the
that
plate.
too. Like, I'm looking for a booking agent or manager. It doesn't pay.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We're not.
Well, I mean, I think it's just that like same thing, right? It's local and community. Like someone that's maybe trying to start out in the music business. That's something that's beneficial for them, and it's going to take a little bit of time out of their day. But I mean, I do a lot of volunteer stuff that I don't get paid for.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like the Mike and Tony show.
What's your Venmo?
Yeah. We should start giving out our Venmo. That's actually not a bad idea. I thought about that. But we don't want to do the ads and all. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't. I don't like the idea of the ads, having ads in the show where you like,
Yeah.
So
we always said that we do this for fun.
Yeah.
We like to do this because if we ever treated it like a job, then it wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah, and we have jobs.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like if you look at it as a job, like, doing music, it's like...
Same.
It would be kind of sad to think about like what you make and the time you put into it. So it really, I can't look at it like that.
Well, that's when Dollar was a full-time musician too.
Yeah. It was a struggle. You had to work so hard.
Yeah.
Like so hard.
Yeah. I really can't imagine. I mean, I would love to be flexible to do it full time, but I don't know. I don't know yet how that would.
Yeah. Well, that period came to an end for me. So didn't
He's now a teacher.
Yeah.
A middle school teacher.
Math teacher in middle school. So.
And that can be easier.
No, but in all honesty, I've talked about it on the show. It's the only thing in my life I've ever found besides music that I have a deep love for. Like I enjoy this shit.
Fulfilling.
It's very fulfilling. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and it's practical because it's got insurance and all that. Not to mention summer's off, which is coming up in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's a good gig. Yeah. If you can handle the middle school kids.
But I agree with you. I think when it comes to music, I don't know. I think it has to be something just a passion of your heart. Mm-hmm. It can't be this because that's the reason Mike brings it up. When I was doing it full time, I committed to doing it full time, which meant I was giving guitar lessons. It meant every little thing I could possibly do, I was doing, and it became a job. And then it was pressure all the time, and I was like stressed out. Yeah. And then since when I decided to go back to school, become a teacher, do all that, and since I've done that, I have so much fun with music. I can write songs. I've got my little setup. I kick on the loop pedal and just mess around, throw it up on the Instagram. Why not? Yeah. And what's cool now too is, so with distribution, I can put up like all those things I record like for social media. I can just knock the MP3 off and just put it on there. It's like no big deal because it's. Do you? It might be a little too much of. It's too much of a personal question. Do you have to pay per song when you publish, or do you have some kind of a deal where?
I do. So the EP I did as like a bundle. And then I also paid through like the Library of Congress to copyright
Sure,
them.
yeah.
And then I have 2 other singles out. So those ones I did individual. They're not on the EP. So the next project I'll do, it'll be like a 4-song, just pay for them kind of together. I think you get a little bit more of a deal kind of the more songs you do.
Yeah. TuneCore has it's almost like a yearly, it's like a subscription basically. And so it's unlimited.
Oh,
so I could literally, if I wanted to release 10 songs today, I could just put 10 songs up, which is really cool, which is why I should be putting more stuff out.
Yeah.
Especially like that, because it's so easy, those recordings, you can just take the MP3 and put it up there and there you go. You got a song. Because I got inspired by Oliver Anthony. I was like, this guy just flipped on his dang cell phone.
Yeah.
Recorded himself singing his heart out. Next thing you know, he's world famous. You're like, what is happening? Like nobody cares, if it's a good song, it's a good song.
Yeah.
You've worked in a lot of different studios too, yeah?
A couple, yeah. Well, 3, I guess. So total, yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. What's the differences, or like, do you have one that you like the more? Or?
Yeah. So the EP I gave you, Songs from the Sofa. That, by the way, is called Songs from the Sofa. My friend Joe suggested that because he said like. Basically the songs are so sad or angry that people will need therapy after listening to them. Songs from the Sofa. And then it was like a whole story about how we found that sofa for the cover of it. It's kind of funny. But anyway, we recorded that at Mighty Fine Productions in Denver. And they're an incredible studio in addition to recording a lot of artists and some really well-known names. They also have this whole production side. So touring artists will come in and they'll provide like all of the sound and a lot of times instruments. So it's a cool spot to be in just because they have like so many cool things. It's really big. And one of the days that I brought the whole band there, we kind of made a whole day of it. We had the whole day reserved, and my friend Kate came out and did like a yoga class in the morning. Wasn't required. A lot of the guys didn't want to do it in the band. But for those that wanted to participate, we had yoga. We started the day off that way, which I love. And it's just really fun. And then Evergroove and Evergreen, quite a bit smaller, but just a really cool vibe. The owners I haven't worked with, but I've been working with Athena, who's I think like the main engineer or one of the main engineers there, and just so great. One thing that's really cool too is that at Mighty Fine and at Evergroove, I worked with both female engineers. So Lauren at Mighty Fine and Athena at Evergroove, and I think they might be the only 2 female engineers in Colorado. I don't know, but that's pretty rare. Yeah. I've also worked with Colin at Mighty Fine. He's the owner and he's great. But and then the very first time I recorded was before that. And I don't remember the name of the studio, but if you're familiar with Kenny Lee Young. Yeah.
God, I've known that guy since, I haven't talked to him in years. But we used to both play at this place called McDonough's in Aurora.
Oh yeah, I played there too.
You played at McDonough's?
It's called Sean's Tavern now, but back in the day it was McDonough's.
I'm curious. You don't happen to know David Freshman, do you?
No.
Oh, okay. We used to. Yeah, we played for years over there. We had a whole crew that was a regular thing. We did open mics every Thursday, and then every other week we'd do a show on a Friday or Saturday or something like that.
Nice.
That place was that was back when everyone could smoke inside the bar.
Yeah.
Just every night you come home just reeking a cigarette smoke.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy! What a coincidence! Neat.
Yeah, but Kenny Lee, he had this studio that I don't know if he was like renting it or something from a friend, but anyway, somehow I got to know him through my friend Dan Camus that I mentioned earlier. We just recently recorded a song together, and this was years ago, and I had never recorded, and I just I wanted to try it. I write a lot. I wanted to put some songs out there, and so he said, come on over to the studio that I have, and so that was my first experience, and it was really cool. He gave me, a great deal, and I can't remember now. I'd have to look back. The person who recorded us, this was several years back, but I think he was kind of learning the software, and so it was kind of like a win-win for everyone. I got kind of like a lower price.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was really cool. And at that time I was playing in a cover band, and our bass player came in and did bass and drums. And then someone else I knew at the time did some lead guitar on the songs I did there. So yeah.
Dang, that's fun. Okay.
So now I need to know the story about the couch, the sofa.
Yeah, you've been thinking this whole time about it. He's holding it in.
It's just so funny. So okay, I'm super into spiritual things and manifesting, and I really believe kind of when things are in alignment, they just work out. Like when you get out of your own way, things just work out. And that was very much the story with this album, is things just kind of started lining up, and I really had very little to do with it other than just writing the songs and taking the steps to record them. Things just kind of really worked out. And so, Joe was like, oh, you should call it Songs from the Sofa. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Sure. I'll do that. So then he said, you should see if any of your friends have an old Victorian couch that we could do, take your picture on, you're talking to the therapist, for the cover. And I said, sure. So I posted on Facebook, does anyone have a couch like this? And then another one of my music friends, Joy Iwancio, responded and said, hey, there's this couch on Marketplace. It's kind of like what you want. It's free. It's in someone's alley. You should go get it. And I was like, no. I don't need a couch. I don't have any space for a couch. I just wanted to take a picture on one. And so she's like, no, hear me out. It would be really cool if you went and picked up that couch and took it to a field somewhere and did the photos there. And I was like,
that is a great idea.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow, that is cool. I wouldn't have thought of that. But so then I was like, okay. So then I post on Facebook, so does anyone want to help me move a couch today and maybe take my picture on it? And so my friend John Bolin, who's also a musician, we went to high school together years ago. He's a musician and a photographer, and he responded and he was like, yeah, I don't have anything going on after work today. I'll help you. And I have a truck. So we went.
Amazing.
We went to this alley, picked up the couch, drove it to Crown Hill Park, and drove kind of on the sidewalk into the park, and then opened the bed of the truck, carried this couch 100 feet into the park, and people are looking at us. I was like, are we going to get arrested? We drove onto the field. But yeah, he helped me do that, and he took the shots, and I actually was wearing my mom's wedding dress in that. So I was previously engaged, didn't work out, and just had my mom's wedding dress. Not that I was ever going to wear it to get married in, but that's how that came about. Yeah.
Did you leave the couch there?
No, we took it to the Goodwill. Yeah, we finished the photo shoot and took it to the Goodwill. It all happened within a matter of 4 hours. Joy emails me hey, there's this couch, and then John's like, yeah, I'll go, and it was just crazy. I was like, okay.
Wow, 4 hours.
Yeah, it just all worked out. So
yeah,
really
I see what
cool.
you're saying now. How it just feels effortless, it's just all kind of lining up.
Yeah, and I really feel I've had so many experiences like that in music, where it's you feel and you can probably relate with music and teaching. It feels like what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Because when you do feel like that, and I think you're in a positive mindset, it is weird how the whole world seems to change around your attitude.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't it seem like
that?
Yeah. I don't know, Mike, if you've listened to the latest guest on Joe Rogan. I forgot his name, Vic something. He's he was he did game design, video game design and stuff like this, but they were getting really deep into talking about physics and the deeper levels, this idea of simulation.
Yeah.
And people are we living in a simulation? I've always just blown, I'm whatever. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. It doesn't even make sense. What does that mean? But I understand a little better what these people are saying. But what it comes down to is when they get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller with physics, they get to a point where it's literally information. And then the nature of quantum mechanics is that it doesn't really exist until consciousness interacts with it. And so I'm probably explaining this like a total dummy. You should check it out yourself. But this guy's amazing to listen to. But it made me think about that. It's like, there's probably a lot of actual truth to that, of just like having a positive attitude, moving like just like you things, doors open up, things happen.
Yeah.
But they talk about the whole thing like it could be a simulation, because at the smallest levels, it's just information that's not even. They didn't say manifested. What were they saying? Rendered. It's information that's not rendered until it interacts with consciousness. Have you heard about that before? Like Schrodinger's cat and the whole.
Well, I only recently heard about the simulation thing.
Okay.
And I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't know this. And I just, I don't really know. Like, I feel like there's so many theories of what, what this life is, or what's before it or after it. Like, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting to think about all of these things. And
yeah, the thing that I just thought was the takeaway for me was like the fact that your consciousness directly interacts with reality. Like, not just from your actions and everything, but like because the Schrodinger's cat is this physics experiment where it's a way to explain what's happening at super small levels inside of atoms, where an electron they call it superposition, where it can be in two places at the same time. It's both. And then when an observer looks at it, or when they observe it, it's in one or the other, but it can't be in both. So it's this idea of that, like, it boggles physicists' minds. Like everyone's like, nobody understands it, but it's like, how is this possible that it's literally us looking at it that decide what's physically going to happen in the universe?
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot to it.
Yeah. No, I love thinking about things like that. I mean, I don't get it. Like, it's way above me, but, the idea of like time, I've heard really only exists like in this life that we created. Like, we made it up, a way to like measure time, and like outside of this universe like that, none of that really exists. So
absolutely.
But I always tell Dollar, one of my favorite short stories, I guess, of all time is called The Egg.
Oh yeah.
And it's about a man who dies, and then he goes to heaven, but he meets a God up there, and he's like, what happened? He's like, well, you died. You were in a car accident, and he's like, what about my wife? What about my, my kids and all that stuff? Like, oh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Like, okay, well, what do I do now? He's like, well, now you're going to go be a 11-year-old in the medieval times. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm going to be a person in the medieval times. Like, well, he's like, time is all relative to you people. He's like, and you'll learn this as you grow and use and become different lives and learn things. And he's like, well, what's the end game? And he's like, well, the end game is to, learn from everybody and have empathy and compassion and be, one with everything. And so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's like they said just time is different for us. We think of time as just like linear, just straightforward. And like, whereas, when they're explaining the egg, it's like, no, I can send you back to here and you can live this life now, and then you'll be living this life later, and so on.
So, not to get too crazy, but a little crazy.
Let's get crazy.
So, it's actually like death kind of like got me thinking about a lot of these things. It's like, kind of, I would say before that, like on a daily basis, I didn't really question a lot. But then, like when you start thinking about like, well, when you lose people or, whatever, like what does happen? And I found a lot of comfort reading about, what is it called? Past life experiences, which is kind of like what you're saying. So like, there's it's just really fascinating. Like there's real accounts of, and some people I'm sure are like, oh, that's not true or whatever, but like a kind of unexplainable things happening, and it happens a lot with children. So like children.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've gone down the rabbit hole on these.
Oh really?
Oh,
I love this. There's like been accounts of like kids who like know things that there's no way they could have known because they were like they were that 11-year-old in the medieval times, like in their past life, and they can.
Did you see that? There's that one kid who he remembers being in World War II, a pilot, and he knows he knew so many details.
I did read about this one.
It was crazy, and like somebody from the military who had served with them or whatever came over and talked to him and was just like blown away, like how in the world. And that's all the kid talked about was flying planes and just wanted to do it, and you realize like, wow. And they actually, on that podcast with Rogan, which I'm not even done yet, they get into that. They start talking.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
Oh, it's incredible hearing them talk about it, because that's what they talk about. It gets into reincarnation and like how much of Eastern philosophy talks about what we're now discovering in physics, and like realizing like, oh my gosh, like I think our whole understanding of the universe it's lacking. Like we think we have some grasp on the universe when we really don't have any kind of a grasp at all.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea that like, oh, it's a simulation. And then the big question to me is like, well, so what changes for me? Does anything change? I mean, I'm still going to live my life exactly the same way. Other than I think that it has the potential to give you kind of a more optimistic attitude and have fun. Like if you were playing a video game, you're playing because you want to play. Yeah. People still get pissed, right? People still throw the controller sometimes. Yeah. But you don't have to. You could think of it as like, oh, I'm doing this because I want to do this.
And I love that philosophy too, because it kind of reminds people like you kind of are in charge of your own life and your own destiny. And like you can't, one thing that like really has always irritated me is people who kind of, play the victim and like sit around and wait for things to happen. Like, no, like go out and do it and make it happen. Yeah. And that like we can do that. And one of the things you said earlier, Tony, when you're talking about, isn't it cool how like when things line up like that, it's like the universe is kind of taking care of you, or I'm paraphrasing, but it reminded me of The Alchemist, which is another
that's
story
one of my favorite books of all time.
Yes. Yep. And, one of the quotes from that book is like, when you really conspire, or when you really, really want something, the whole universe conspires to make it happen for you. Yeah. And, I love conversations like this.
I love that too.
Go all day with.
Have you ever read that by chance, Pierce? The Alchemist? No. I got a copy.
You got to read it. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's not that long either.
Very short, easy read.
But it's just, it's great. It's great shit. It's about realizing you can just make your own life, your own. And to me, that's where the simulation came in, is they were talking about like as if it was a video game, and you like how much benefit is that to think of life when something terrible happens to be like, no, this is a challenge or a quest. Mm-hmm. Like these are quests and challenges that I'm on all the time.
I'm good at video games.
You can get through it.
There you go. But the same reason you're good at life, buddy. Yeah. That's why you're good at life too.
Yeah. Overcoming challenges.
I think they do actually, The Secret. The book, The Secret.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then, like they had the movie and stuff like that. They actually mentioned The Alchemist on that too. And so when you guys said that, I kind of understood what I was talking about.
The gist of it, yeah.
So but
I got super into The Secret too for a while.
So did I. Like, and that's what like I don't like. When they're talking about the stoplights, right? And you're like, oh, I'm late. And you're like, I'm late. Oh my god, I'm so late. And if you just focus on being late, you're gonna be late, like late, and like, oh, it's like the traffic, the lights, and so you're gonna hit every light if you're in that mind frame of thinking. So it's always like the thought of positivity, being positive, and that's what I always try to be, because like
we invite in the thoughts. We're magnets for
absolutely. Well, and the other thing too is like spending so much time thinking about our problems, which I'm a bit guilty about that. Like sometimes you really
we all do
it. Yeah.
It's rumination. You're just stuck on something. You know what I mean? And that if you can just kind of let go of things a little bit better.
It's a practice for sure.
Well, that's what he said too. Yeah. He's like, I'm trying to adopt the Mike Pierce style of life, thinking of if I can't control it, then
why worry about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really true. I mean, otherwise, if you don't stop and ask yourself why, you just do that. And then you're like, but this is not serving me. This is taking me somewhere I don't want to go. Yeah, I love stuff like that. I feel like there's I guarantee. Okay, I can't do that. For myself, I have faith that there is something much bigger. This is so little of what the universe actually is. And I think that those things that we feel kind of instinctively are just resonate true throughout the universe, like love, compassion, community, like treating people well, being nice, being selfless, giving of yourself, giving your time, all those things that feel good. I think that's how you play the video game. I think like that's because when you get to the end, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like they said on that Rogan podcast, it was like the guy was like, "We're not playing Grand Theft Auto because that's a different video game." But maybe for some people it is. Maybe some people kind of see it that way. There's such a wide variety of human beings.
Well, I guess it's also like, I guess if we're gonna put it in terms of like life as like a video game, like there's no cheat code. There's no way to make something like instantly easy, right? You just can't put in a cheat code and like, bam, I have 1 million lives now. It's like, unlimited money. No, you have to work towards things. You have to get through those obstacles and challenges.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it does beg the question too, which is like an age-old philosophical question: is where are the people or whatever entities playing? Where am I actually at if this is a video game? Like, where's my soul? Or like where?
I'm telling you, Dollar, you need to watch Rick and Morty so bad.
He tells me this all the time. I never have watched
What is this?
Rick and Morty is a cartoon, and they talk about alternate universes and like the different yous throughout the time and everything like that. So, yeah, you really need to watch it, Dollar, because it's like it talks about things so like this too.
Yeah.
So,
What's magical to me, like how I don't know. I feel like the universe is a magical place if people stop and think about it. We know what we know, and we're very adaptable, and we get used to our daily life and whatever we're doing, and it's so easy to lose track of a bigger picture or like, why am I here or whatever. But I think if you just stop and look around, like, it's phenomenal, just everything, just this hat sitting here on the table. By speaking of which, I got
looks great on you.
Well, and like when Joe Rogan puts it in perfectly too, when he talks about like us in the vast universe, he's like, we're just fucking monkeys on a flying rock through space.
Flying through the universe. Because remember we talked about that too, about the universe, about like our solar system. We have all these like ideas of what it looks like from what we learned in school, right? There you got the sun, and then in these perfect concentric circles, everything is spinning around stuff. But what's really happening is our entire galaxy is moving through space, and then our little like area of stars is moving, and then our sun specifically, and we are just barreling through space. And so the sun is barreling through space with these planets like stuck in orbit around it, and you just think like, wow, this is magic. Like, I feel like this is a fantasy. Like,
it is. The other thing that makes me think that too is like, if you've ever noticed like how resilient our human bodies are. I mean, I know it's not the case for everyone. We're not immortal, but just like having been through a couple of things recently, my brother was in a really bad ski crash in December, and like watching his recovery, it's just like, wow, like,
what we're capable of,
and then I had surgery late in the fall, and it's like, wow, the human body. And it's not just that, it's like all these little things and cells that have to like work together perfectly to make us function.
Collaborate.
Like, there's that collaboration.
Well, I think also a testament too that you're also, I mean, you're very spiritual, but are you yogi, or is that what you?
Oh, no. Total yogi.
Yeah. So she's a yogi. She does yoga and all that stuff, and
so good for you.
Balance and everything, right?
Yeah. Well, I consider myself just really fortunate. I feel like I found my tribe. It took me years. When I was young, I just was like partying a lot and didn't really know kind of who I was or what I wanted in life. I knew I wanted to do music, but I just couldn't do it at that time. Like, there were so many things I had to overcome, some past dramas, and eventually I quit drinking, and that really kind of opened some doors for me. But
we talked about that on the last time you were on, I think.
I got sober in 2008, but I have like a great community of friends that I can talk about with this stuff all the time. We talk about manifesting and meditating, and this is so great. Like,
well, I always joked around like when she was doing all those, like she was doing headstands like forever. I was like, I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna get one on. And I finally got like a headstand done. I was like,
let's go, Pierce.
So, and now I'm like, it's like it's always like challenges for me, right? So now I'm trying to do like handstands now, and trying to like
love it.
Trying to do those, but
Neat.
There's a lot of strength.
Are you posting them
that.
On Instagram?
No, because it looks dumb right now.
We all got to start.
It's a lot.
My handstand game's not very good.
I want to be more flexible. I really need to make an effort to be more flexible. I'm
terrible. I've always told my yoga story on the podcast before. Like, I went with Tara a long time ago, and I went to a class with her, and I don't do yoga. I'm just, I lift weights. I do all that stuff. I'm a heavy lifter, and when we went to this thing, it was just the warm up, like just getting ready. And I remember I am just bullets sweating, and I'm just like, oh, everything is hard. And I'm like looking around at people, and I legit was like asking, I was like, why is nobody else sweating? Oh my God. And I'm just like, and the instructor, she was laughing. She goes, big guys always have problems with these. Like,
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I might have told you this last time. I took yoga one time. I took a class in college. I think it was like an easy credit or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was such a struggle. And I was young. I was 20 something in
And
great
it was
shape.
the whole semester?
Yeah, it was a whole semester.
Wow.
And that's what I was talking about. I just remember like shaking, dripping with sweat. I'm like holding, like just thinking, this has to be over. This has to be over. And she would just be so calm. She'd be like, now we're just going to breathe into it. And I'm just like, But you've been doing yoga a long time.
Yeah. And it's actually not about being flexible. It's like a myth, people say like, oh, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. But one of my favorite sayings too is like practice makes progress, because I think whatever we spend our time doing, we do get better at.
Yeah.
So, if you never stretch, you're not going to be great at it. If you stretch every day, you're probably going to be more flexible. But yoga is actually less about that, less, I think, even about the asana, the physical movement, our posture, and more about
Spiritual practice.
Yeah. Yoga means like to yoke. And so it's like connecting the mind and the body together. And there are actually 8 limbs, I think, of yoga. I haven't been through the yoga teacher training, but someday that's my goal. Someday.
that's like Duncan too from Relate. He was.
Oh, yeah.
He's big time in yoga. He likes to do the hot
right.
yoga.
Oh,
So he was the hot
that's
yoga
my
guy.
jam.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, you do. So do you do both? You do just regular yoga and then you also do like hot yoga?
I've practiced for years. Probably, I think about 20 years now. I started hot yoga, the Bikram style, which I know now is kind of controversial, but about 20 years ago.
Oh, because that's a guy. That dude was like weird or something, right?
Yeah, there's like a whole documentary. I think I haven't watched it, but so now it's, I think, kind of taboo to call it Bikram. It's just hot yoga now, but it's the same 26 postures.
So Bikram yoga was in a hot environment as well?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah,
I did not.
I don't really know all the history. I haven't watched the documentary. I probably should, but I don't think he like invented it, because it's a years old Indian practice.
He brought it to some people, probably.
And then I think he like put his name on it and maybe made it kind of his style.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you feel like playing another song? Maybe?
I would love to play another song.
I love that.
Let's see. I'm gonna play the song that's on your hat. It's Breaker Breaker. And this song it's has a special meaning to me. So I wrote it kind of inspired by my grandfather, who passed in 2019. But him and my grandmother met in World War II. She was a nurse on a ship, and he was a ham radio operator in the Merchant Marines in World War II. And so they actually met overseas and, got married and had 4 kids. And they never had a lot. They were raised during the Depression, the Great Depression. And, but they just like made the most of everything. They like traveled and, even if it was like all 6 of them in this tiny car, like going across country and tent camping. Like they did a lot of that and really like gave me my love for the outdoors. They moved into an RV when they retired and just like traveled all around. And so a lot of my memories of them with them when I was a kid are, just kind of sitting in the back of the truck. They're hauling the camper and we're going to the next campground. And my grandpa would always be like drinking coffee and have the CB radio on. And sometimes he'd let me talk on it, which was always like So that's where this song came from. Turn the key, there's diesel smoke and static on the CB radio. Left behind night skies, I've got that sunrise in my eyes. pulling a heavy load toward the streets of gold. Breaker, breaker, what's your 20? I'm keeping time 'cause time is money. Got a full tank and some coffee. Breaker, breaker, do you copy? Exit signs, can't be late. Making good time on the interstate. From Crater Lake to Crabtree Falls, I've been everywhere, I've seen it all. I'm hauling it all as planned towards a promised land. Breaker, breaker, what's your 20? I'm keeping time 'cause time is money. Got a full tank and some coffee. Breaker, breaker, do you copy? One more stop and I'll be on my way. I've prayed all I can pray and I am not afraid. Breaker, breaker, what's your 20? I'm keeping time 'cause time is money. Got a full tank and some coffee. Breaker, breaker, do you copy? Breaker, breaker, hammer down. Just one more town to get through now. I'll keep that engine good and loud. Over and out. Whiskey 4, Kilo Delta X-ray 10-4. Whiskey 4, Kilo Delta X-ray 10-4. Oh,
you have a lovely voice. It's like so calming.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's why she's nominated.
Did you see me? I tried to get my
vocal.
pen out. I was like, I'm going to relax. Battery said,
Oh,
wait,
not dead.
now it works. I don't even want it now. That's incredible. Those are really beautiful songs. Thanks for sharing
was
with
his
us.
call sign at the end was W4KDX, so Whiskey 4.
Oh, I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so clever too. I love the lyrics. I love that lyric. I love the main chorus there. What's your 20? Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
It gets me emotional too because my grandmother passed away in 2019.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it was. I think it wasn't the same year.
Yeah, same year.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and probably kind of similar generation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my grandmother was born in 1936, 7, something like that. But yeah, that generation is different. And what we're seeing nowadays, you're right. Like, I feel like we have.
Sure.
It's a whole different mentality, and everybody's got access to everything, and everybody just.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, I always thought it was so interesting with my grandfather. So he was on Facebook, later in his life and had an email and was like good at the email and Googling and all of that.
Yeah.
But to think about like all of the changes they saw in their lifetime is just kind of incredible,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, what a different world.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the world, Mike, in like 1950 or something, or 1945 compared to 2024?
Yeah. Compared to now. Yeah.
So different.
Insanely different.
Because I think about my grandfather. He's still alive. He lives out here in Colorado. Actually, he moved out here. He stays with my parents and stuff, which is really cool. But just to both of them were always just so grateful for everything. You know what I mean? And just happy to be here. Always good at like conserving stuff and making sure that we're not just being like, overly indulgent in everything and going crazy. But yeah, neat. Those are lovely songs. I love that. How many songs do you have?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Roughly.
A lot. I mean, there's a lot of songs I write that
don't do.
I never do anything with. Yeah. I mean, you probably know as an artist, like you'll be going back through your journals sometime and like, oh, I forgot about that. I played it once. Totally. So I don't know, but I've got the 5 on that EP and then 2 additional singles and then 3 others that are online, and then the 4 songs will come out on the new project. I think I'll call it Songs with Friends. Not super creative, songs from the sofa, and then songs with friends.
I like it. It's simple.
Co-writes and duets. So
yeah. Now, how do you decide? First of all, I'm curious. Like, do you typically, when you're putting out music that's recorded, is it usually something you've written recently, or do you kind of just have like this massive songs that you just work with, and sometimes an old song will come out? With something else?
It's a little bit of both. And it's always surprising to me. So like the songs we put on that 5-song EP were all songs that meant something to me like emotionally, and I wanted to put them out. And that's, kind of where the title came from, Songs from the Sofa. They were kind of all emotionally driven songs. But then the most recent single we released was a song we recorded live at Fracco's, the Old Toad Tavern, in February. It's called Ain't Going Back. And that song, I really had no plans to do anything with. It was really old, and I really didn't think it was like a great song. It's just the same 4 chords over and over. But it was an easy ad for the band, like, easy for everyone to follow and play along. And so we started playing that early on, when we started playing band shows. And it seemed like the crowd really liked it, and I thought, well, Steve can really jam. He does these sick leads on it, because it's easy to follow. And so we ended up recording that at Fracco's. And then my boyfriend's niece, she's 17. She lives in Santa Barbara, California. And she's amazing. She just graduated high school. She's got like a agency. She does modeling, acting. She has this incredible voice. Wow. We just were out there. We watched her in Chicago. But so she was out in March, and I had this recording of this live track we did. And the last time she was out here, she came and did a show with me. And so I said, hey, would you want to put harmony vocals on this song? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And I was so impressed with her. She's 17 years old, went in the studio, like not nervous
Did you
at
give
all.
her what to sing, or did she come up with her own
Yeah,
harmonies?
I was like, here's the song. Like, let me know if you even like it, And she just like put it together like that. It was so fast. And her voice is incredible on this song. So all that to say, that song, I really never planned to record. It was just like an easy song to add with the band. And then, whenever we would play it, it seemed like people liked it.
Yeah.
And now that it's recorded, I think it really adds so much having her on the track. But a lot of people are like, that's the best song you've ever written. Like, it's 4 chords, and I wrote it so long ago.
But that's so many times. Some of the greatest songs are like these simple chord progressions, fairly simple melodies, and it's about the feeling and the emotion in it and stuff. And I'm always a fan of lyrics, because a lot of people don't really listen to lyrics that much.
Yeah, the lyrics in that song aren't even good. They're honestly not.
Really?
Yeah, but no, I like lyrics too, and I love poetry, and I put out a poetry book last year too. But
what?
Yeah.
She's busy.
That's 2 guests that we've had put out a poetry book.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who else?
Dom
Gordon.
Gordon. Yeah. He's a singer-songwriter.
Yeah. And
Okay.
he has hundreds of songs.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've jammed together a couple times. It's one of those people you just sit down and it's like 20 minutes later we have like 4 songs. Like, what?
Wow.
Hold on, let me get the lyrics. Like,
Yeah,
crazy.
so
And
prolific.
he's and he writes like that. He'll record himself and then he just writes them down. It's very odd.
Wow.
It's really good though. What do you say, Pierce? I think we're going to do some throwback.
Want to hit up a little of those fun facts.
Let's go.
Yeah, so the ones that I got here.
We asked you the island question last time, right? Did we ask her the island question, Pierce?
So long ago.
It was if you're stuck on a desert island, you have everything you need for the rest of your life, and you have one album.
Sounds great.
right.
They sign me up.
But in the crash, you lost all your music, and you have one album that you can listen to the rest of your life.
Oh my God.
What is it? No, we didn't ask her. I don't think we asked her.
Oh, I mean, that's just so hard because what kind of mood are you in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's kind of why it's tricky.
I know. I definitely have like go-to albums for, you know, certain moods. Oh, that's hard.
Mine was Catch a Fire, Bob Marley.
Oh, okay.
1973.
Did you watch his movie recently? Or I guess not his movie, but
no, I did. I still haven't actually seen it.
okay.
And I was really skeptical. Now I'm super open to it.
Okay.
To check it out because I think I was turned off by it because it seemed Hollywood to me because I'm a diehard Bob fan. I was like, Bob was like freaking 5'5". He had a high pitched voice. Like it was scratchy, high pitched voice. His demeanor, he was rough and tough. You know what I mean? And then I saw the trailer for the movie and I was like, who is this handsome son of a bitch playing Bob Marley at 6 feet tall? What are you doing? And I didn't like it, but I've heard nothing but great things, and I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna check it out. Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah, I'd love to chat with you after and see what you think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I won't give anything away.
Okay.
Gosh, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Patty Griffin and her album "Living with Ghosts." I think is definitely one of my top 10.
Wait a minute. Why does that sound familiar? I wonder if we did do this before. That'd be crazy if you didn't realize it and picked the same one twice. That might be.
I don't remember you asking me, but oh my gosh. I also can't remember like what someone asked me yesterday. So
like, what time's the gig? That's
alarming.
All I need to know.
Yeah.
Okay, what you got for us, Pierce? You got a little bit of throwback fun facts?
So these are the very first ever fun facts that I sent out on our show.
The very first one?
Almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. You ready?
What's the date on it? Do you see it there?
Well, I started in January 23rd, 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neat.
Ready?
Okay, let's go.
All right. Humans are capable of and have the gene for hibernation. It's just not active.
Really? Makes sense why we get a little sleepy in the
Sleepy
winter,
sometimes.
gain a little weight.
Yeah. So let's see here. Pimps. This one was always one of my favorite ones. Pimps wear lots of gold jewelry bought at pawn shops to repawn for bail money, since cash is confiscated upon arrest, but jewelry is not.
Oh, clever.
So if they get arrested, they take their money.
That's not where all the heavy chains and stuff come from in general.
Yeah,
is
dude,
it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Is that wild?
Serves a practical purpose.
It does serve a practical purpose.
It's handy. I'm gonna start wearing chains just in
Just
case.
like
You don't know what can happen.
there?
Yeah, like this. Yeah.
Yeah, just in case.
I am not a pimp. Just to clarify.
for the record.
Yeah, just
By
to
choice.
clarify.
By choice.
The word trifling, which means shiftless, lazy, and useless, was first used in the Bible. So you always hear,
I definitely misunderstood the meaning of that word.
Trifling.
Because I always thought like
Never heard that.
trifle. I thought that was like trifling was like struggling with something. That's what I honestly thought it meant. I guess not.
Yeah.
It's not a word I use every day.
No.
I teach math, by the
It
way.
reminds me of that Friends episode when Rachel makes a trifle,
A trifle.
like something to eat.
A truffle?
Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I
Trifle,
thought it was a
truffle?
trifle.
Oh, I don't know.
This is one of those moments where you think about a word too much.
Yeah.
Like, is that an
they miss, and they miss
Am
the
I saying it
meanings.
wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Sounds
it?
weird now.
What is it? Yeah, have you seen Black Sheep with Chris Farley and
Yeah.
David Spade
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they're like all high off the nitrous oxide and they're like roads? That's a
Oh,
funny
yeah,
word,
yeah.
right? Roads,
Absolutely.
roads.
Trifle.
Yeah,
Trifle.
and it does. When you do think of a word too much, it does. You're like roads. Dude, that's weird. Roads?
We always said it that way.
Yeah. Questioning some basic word that you've
Yeah.
pronounced your whole life.
About 1/10 of the Earth's population lives on the southern hemisphere.
Say it one more time.
Only 1/10 of the world's population lives in the southern hemisphere. Because you got to think, Russia, China, that's all.
There's way more land mass on the northern part.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting.
Is there more land mass? I mean, because Antarctica is fucking
I think
huge.
so. I don't know. I'm like talking like I'm an expert. I feel like I would think, yeah, like you said, because you've got all of Europe that goes through that whole continent, like into Asia. And then you've got, well, then there's Africa's really big though.
Oh, true. I'm really bad at geography. I always just say it's because I'm American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
That will get you out of it for sure.
All right, we were talking about the universe. If an alien in a galaxy 65 million light years away was looking at us through a telescope right now,
Dinosaurs.
yep, then they're looking at dinosaurs because of the time.
Wow.
That just gives you an idea of how gigantic the universe is, because light travels pretty fast.
Yeah, dude.
Like for you to turn that light on, I mean, the time for it to come on to get to my eye is like nothing. But to think that over a long enough time, it could take 65 million years to get to somewhere. And it's probably, you can go way further than that.
Yeah. That's wild.
Nuts.
That's nuts, dude. They're going to see dinosaurs. And even at that, like
nothing going on over there.
they were talking about, that was another thing, perception of time, right? And so like if our book was like 1,000-page book, like we don't even take up, what was it, $1? It was something crazy. Like we don't even take 1/10 of a page in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Blink
dumb.
of an eye.
Yeah.
And that's just the history of the world.
Yeah.
The Earth, not the universe,
Yeah.
not the galaxy,
Yeah.
not the solar system.
That's
Which is like so
wild.
amazing that we're all here. You
Yeah,
know?
right?
Like, I mean, we're so tiny in the whole big picture.
Tell me
like,
there's not something magic going on
Yeah.
with the
there's
universe.
magic.
Yeah. Coca-Cola was originally sweetened with wine. Before the wine was switched out for sugar, it was known as Pemberton's French wine coca.
Couldn't sell that one as well.
Yeah.
Pembertons. Get your Pemberton.
Get your Pembertons here. Ice
Now-
cold Pembertons.
Wasn't Coca-Cola also originally made with cocaine?
Yeah, later
Yeah.
on. Yeah, too. Yeah. It had
Oh,
some
that was later
cocaine.
on.
Yeah, it had some cocaine.
So
in
first
it, too.
wine, then cocaine.
Yeah,
And that's probably when they changed the name.
Switching out. Yeah.
Like, we're not, this is Pembertons. We need to up our game
Up
here.
this.
Let's call it Coca-Cola.
We need to get these people drinking this more. How do we get that? Cocaine.
Where did I just see that crazy restaurant in Florida that was putting methamphetamines
What?
in their food?
What?
It was like a mom and pop diner type of place in Florida. They got seriously busted, but they were putting meth in the food.
Getting people like addicted?
I
Or-
think they didn't say that, but I think that's
Oh.
the assumption. I don't know why else you're putting, unless you're just
Well,
a
any more
terrible
of these
person.
shrimp?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like bro, the food you don't
So
understand.
good. Oh my God.
We have to go now. We have
I'm
to go
so
now.
good. I'm so good. I don't know why I'm picking at my face all the time, but this is so yummy.
I haven't slept in 3 weeks. I eat there every day.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Actually, I stay here.
Right.
I live here now.
This is my booth. You got, oh my God.
But isn't that
you have
crazy?
restaurant squatters.
That's insane.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy that they really did that?
Okay, but like,
Because you always joke around. You're like, damn, they're going to sprinkle crack on this pizza. Is so good, right? They really were. They really were.
but like, is
Like the guy
that,
from the-
can they still be making a profit? And they're like
Oh.
giving out drugs. I don't know.
Well, because meth is like the low end.
oh,
stuff,
that's
right?
Yeah.
like the cheap.
Yeah,
cheap
it wasn't
drug.
like
Okay.
high grade
All
cocaine.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes sense. Makes sense now.
So bizarre.
Oh my
Such
God.
a bizarre thing. I would be so pissed if I found out somebody got me addicted to meth.
Oh, I read I'm so pissed.
I avoided it my whole life.
I thought I was just addicted to the pizza.
I had a fucking omelet this morning. now I just,
Where was this at?
I'm fiending. It was in Florida.
Oh, you had a Florida omelet, so it's not a Denver omelet. It's a Florida
Oh
omelet.
yeah, I guess so.
So I was always like perplexed when, you know, we were kids and people would say like, oh, you got to be careful with the Halloween candy. People would put drugs in there.
Yeah,
I'm like, who is giving out drugs? I had to pay for that shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I always say when they were talking about like, you know, when the weed gummies came out and everything like that. They're like, oh, careful that they might put weed gummies in your thing. I'm like, no, dude, people paid for that shit. They're not
Yeah.
going to just give it away. It's
Bro,
like,
Those aren't
we're
cheap.
all
Yeah.
going to that house.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah. Or who's like, yeah.
I wonder how real was any of that? Because it would be like they would even Snicker bars and stuff. I remember seeing it on the news, and they'd be like, now they can use syringes to insert the.
Or like they were talking like, remember there was at one point in time like razors were like in things.
Right.
You know what I think it is? Here's what I think it is. It was a conspiracy theory. It was a coalition of parents that wanted that parent tax, and that's how I had to check the candy all the time for you. And like, this is not good.
It's not
This
safe.
is not good. This is not good, right? I think it was a coalition of parents.
Well, you're both parents.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, we do tax them on like when they get, because me and Maya have been trying to eat better, so every once in a while they might get French fries or something like that, and so take a couple French fries. The tax comes off the top.
Make sure they don't have razors in them.
Yeah, double check. No, they're good.
No, they're good.
Check a few more.
No methamphetamines on those fries.
That's an evil person. And the more I think about that, I'm like, just to not care.
Right, dude?
To not care. That was like, it reminds me of, there's more extreme versions like that. One lady that was like killing patients. Do you remember that? It was like an old folks home, and she was doing their dialysis or something, and she was like slowly poisoning all these people. Florida, by the way.
Again.
Florida, which is nuts. Yeah.
That's wild.
Old school fun. I like these old school ones. I remember these.
Yeah. When Dory from Finding Nemo suffered a nosebleed, it was the first time ever that blood was depicted on a Pixar movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A bloody nose. That's all I got?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's mild as heck.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one, actually.
Let's see here. The largest nuclear power plant in the world is in Ontario, Canada. And that their security force has won the U.S. National SWAT Team Championship for 4 times in a row.
Damn.
And back then, back in 2015.
That's got to be a hardcore competition.
Right? Okay, so when we were at the conference, I thought of 2 good ideas. And now that this is going to be on the podcast, it's going to be now copyrighted to us and to me and to nobody can steal this idea now. Thought of a website. I was going to call it The Blacklist. And it was your blacklisted ex-employees for whatever industry you had, right? And I would have my own service table too, right? And it would be a pay for service. So people would submit to who their employee was and put them on the
So you know list. It's legit because they paid to put your ass on
exactly.
there.
Wow.
It's a subscription-based service.
They really
and so when you and so if you ever were like applying for the job, right? You're like, let me check the blacklist real quick. Oh. Yeah.
Sorry,
never
bro.
mind.
Yeah, never mind. Did you know you're number 1 on the blacklist? Jeez.
Yeah, 39 people have added you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that's one of them.
Wow, that is brilliant.
That is really brilliant, Pierce.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Dang it, I just forgot the other one. Oh, the other one was because you know how they had like the firefighter like obstacle like races, like and they like and they climb up the ladders and they have to climb up to the next the window. We thought of delivery wars. Having like Amazon people like or like FedEx
DoorDash,
people or, and they have to like go through these obstacles of like their food or their packages, and like one of them is like they have a full hand of like packages or food and they have to try to like open the gate.
Yeah,
like one of those gates,
and
like, oh, come on, and it's like a little time thing, but at the same time, there's a little dog that's like, coming at you, like, you're like, oh shit, just like,
too many ideas, Pierce.
Yeah,
not enough time.
I think people would watch that on TV.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Delivery wars.
Yeah.
I think that'd be funny.
Need help producing it?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's go.
I need a sound guy. I need
the Mike and Tony Show Delivery Award Edition.
We are all
Mike and Tony Show Fest, the Mike and Tony Fest.
A lot of good ideas
wars.
coming out of
this.
Yeah, that is a good idea, actually. I would love to do that. Do it in the summertime.
Yeah.
Get some time to dedicate. Do an outdoor show.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Have to be outdoor.
Yeah.
We have experience podcasting at something like that. We used to do FarmCAD, remember?
Yeah, we did.
So we could run the podcast at the same time.
Dude.
Bro.
We gotta do it. And she's gonna be one of our musical talents.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say a
Delivery
person. I will not be good.
It's like, no. Oh, my gosh.
You have more talents than delivering stuff.
Marinara wasn't invented until the New World was discovered. Since tomatoes came from the Aztecs. Before that, pasta was eaten with no sauce.
Wait. So, old school Italy.
Yeah.
No
sauce.
Tomatoes.
No tomatoes.
What?
Wow.
Not until they came to the New World. To the Aztecs and had tomatoes.
Wow. That's
Doesn't
crazy.
sound that good.
Right?
Just plain
Just
pasta.
plain ass butter noodles. Like when daughter used to order at the restaurant, like butter noodles. You're like, come on, dude. I can make you this at home. Like,
So if you had to guess, like on trivia, the first place that tomatoes were, I would have thought Italy, right? But it's Spain.
Yeah.
Spain, and brought them to other parts of Europe. That's crazy. Spain and France were the first two, and then Italy.
dang. By the way, is there certain foods when you take your kids out to eat and you're like, you can't fucking order that. Don't order that. That's me.
Because it's like too expensive?
No, because it's like we go to the restaurant
unhealthy?
and it's like we go to the restaurant. It's like, I want a grilled cheese. I'm like, I can make you that grilled cheese at home, dude. Like, it's like
You're my wife. That's what my wife does all the time.
well, we actually, so I work with Tony's wife at our assistant office.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so,
Small world.
and we had this thing called the Working Genius, and you do this test. It's kind of like Briggs and Myers test, right?
Yeah.
And it's called the Working Genius test. She's going to make you take it, by the way. So just be warned, because it tells you what your working geniuses is, your competencies, and your frustrations were. And like me and Myra were like
the same,
because But yeah. And so we were just talking about like our different my working genius was like enablement, which is like I'm a good enabler. I'm like, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, do that. You should try that. You can do that. Stuff like that. And another one was like the I forget where I have a good intuition. Or I was like, yeah, no, we're gonna do this because I just have a gut feeling about it. And then it turns out pretty good.
Okay.
And it's just like that was one of my other
good
strengths.
instincts.
Yeah, good instincts, good strengths. One of my frustrations was wonder and tenacity. So wonder is like I'm frustrated with people that ask questions a lot. Like a lot of questions, like on the job.
A lot of questions.
No, like on the job.
Okay.
Like on the job, right? And so it's like I'm just like, nope, it's right there. It's good. You're right there. Or like at the end, like if you have an all staff meeting, right? And at the end of the meeting, it's does anybody have any questions? This is me. Nobody better fucking raise your hand.
At 4:00 on a Friday.
Waiting for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, and so that was one
questions.
Of my
Good.
things. You're like,
Moving
don't
on.
raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. You
Interesting.
ask that question in private. None of us need to know your question.
What's it called? The Briggs? What's it
No,
called?
it's called Working Genius. She'll send it to you probably.
Okay.
Yeah, what you're gonna take it. And then the other one
Just try it.
The other one was tenacity, and tenacity is like people that like to make lists and check things off.
Oh, that's
in a
me.
row. That is you, dollar, and that's
100%.
one of my frustrations because I work on a million things at once, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm done with this. Let's work on this now. I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. Okay, let's work on this now. And eventually, everything gets done.
Yeah.
But I'm not just like a line check. Line.
You don't
Well, 'cause
feel
I-
like satisfaction when you cross it off? Like,
No, that's dollar right there.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like working in a certain order because it's not always. Sometimes things get shifted around, but it's based on like deadline and priority. Like this has to get done by tomorrow, so it's got to be at the top of the list. Whereas this one I have till next week or whatever.
Sometimes I do a task, it's not on the list. I write it down just so I can.
Let's go.
She's like,
She's of the
boom,
same
done.
mindset.
Yeah.
Look how much I got done today.
Yeah. It's like a
100%
boost
I've
of endorphins. Or
And I
something.
use
don't know.
I also use Keep for work, like Google Keep. If you ever
I don't
tried
know
it,
what that
it's
is.
like a digital checklist. It has little boxes.
I
You
love
check
it.
the boxes. It's amazing. But sometimes I would leave because when you check them, it puts the check and then puts a line through it. And sometimes I just leave them there for a while.
Just,
I know all this
just
shit
so I
I
can feel so
did.
good about myself. Yes,
stuff I did.
yes.
Tony looks at it. He's like, oh, man, today was a rough never mind. Today was a great day. Look at that list.
I look at that list.
So, Mike, how do you get your sense of satisfaction if not from a to-do list? How do you feel good about yourself?
I feel good about enabling and uplifting other people.
That's a good
and
one.
teaching
That is
people.
good.
I like to be a good teacher.
All right.
Like
Told you should come to my school, do a little
teaching.
coaching, do a little teaching, whatever you want to do. You have a degree, you could do it.
The Mike and Tony show has shifted both of our careers
Yeah.
to teaching.
We changed
At
the
the
name
same
of the
place.
show. Mike and Tony in the classroom.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, the kids would love you though. You'd be great.
Yeah, I'm fun.
Something to think
I'm
about.
I'm a fun guy.
And it's a fun job. It's a really fun job. Like it goes by so fast. I remember my first year where we were at the kids earned a field trip to what's the skating rink out here? The big one.
Skate City?
Skate City.
Yeah.
To Skate City, and we went there, and I'm like literally skating around. And this other guy had started that year with me too. His name's Ness. He's DJ Ness actually. And we were just skating around and just like looking at each other like, wow, this is my job. Like, I'm just hanging out with a bunch of kids and just skating around right now. This is unbelievable.
There you go.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Huh. Well,
Think about it.
Let me know the next job opening dollar and all.
Actually, right now we have.
Let's see here. After arriving at Los Angeles.
Well, that's the end of the show, Pierce.
There it is.
Episode 189. We're coming up on the 200 here pretty quick.
Dude, coming up close.
Of course, you are going to have to come back. We talked about maybe working you into a regular position. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what's
Couch
gonna
guy, you're gone.
But thanks for being here. Thanks for always sharing.
Thank you for having me.
I just got what you said. Sorry, yeah, Couch Guy's gone. Always come back again. Thanks for playing music. You're the first one to do it.
Yeah. And with
What
that
an
dollar,
honor. Thank you.
it is a wrap. Cheers.
Cheers.